The more mentoring I do, the more I see the differences between those that do accomplish their goals and those that struggle and don't accomplish their goals. So what lessons can you learn from those that are being successful, and how can you implement that into what you're doing in your plan? So let's talk about that. The first is those people that accomplish their goals know the steps, know what to do, and then they end up taking daily action consistent with those steps. You have to know what to do, you have to know how to do it. Deep Dive Bootcamp will lead you through that, or if you already have that, go back and think about, am I following those steps? But to take the daily action in the step that you're at, there's a tendency to jump ahead. People want to say, well, if I just acquire a business, I'll learn so much, then I can go back and build a board and get professionals and get financial institutions. No, don't do that. That almost always ends in disaster. Follow the steps. They're there for a reason. They've been successful for a lot of people. So do that. So then take that consistent daily action. How do you do that? We all get flooded with a lot of tasks that we have to do. Not all tasks are created equal. So sit down, preferably the night before. Use what we've talked about, the Ivy League method. I mention that over and over again because I see people that do it and people that don't do it. And oftentimes when someone's not doing it and then does the Ivy League method, they end up writing to me and saying, wow, it's amazing how much more I accomplished when I went through that process and used that Ivy League method. So learn from that, do that. Sit down the night before, say, okay, what step am I at? What actions do I need to take? Whether that's cold calling, sending letters, sending emails, having discussions and interviews, talking to prospects, whatever that step is, to say, okay, here are the steps that I need to do. Here are the actions that I need to take tomorrow. Better yet, put a time next to them. So you make appointments with yourself. We make appointments with other people. Make appointments with yourself. At 7 a.m., I'm going to send emails. Whatever it is, lay that out. And as you do that, you'll begin to see that you're moving the ball up the field. You're having success, and you begin to see why those steps are there. Go back and look at the training. Go back and look at the Deep Dive Bootcamp. There are things in there that, depending on the step you're at, the first time you go through it may not resonate with you. You may not understand it. You may not see, oh yeah, that's a problem and this is how to solve that problem. So use those resources. One of the things that I think is most helpful in that Deep Dive Bootcamp is the ability to go on a special webinar once a month, only bootcamp members. It's live, and you can ask me questions about the step you're at. And what's interesting about that Deep Dive Bootcamp Q&A, the webinar, is the questions that are in that are much better than the free Facebook Live. Why? Because the people are actually doing something. So if you have struggled, if you are frustrated, if it's not coming together as quickly as you would want, think about, okay, what are the basic steps I need to do? Write your affirmations. Say those twice a day. Be amazed how that changes your attitude. Take a little time to think about what you've accomplished to the step you're at. A lot of times people say, well, I can't get over this hurdle, but let me think about the fact that I did build a board, I did get professionals. Don't dwell on that, but at least celebrate that success so that you realize, okay, I am making progress. And lastly, in terms of getting started, I put together some conversation starters. They're free. How to begin discussions with board of directors, professionals, financial institutions, etc. If you want to do that, just go over to my website, brucewhipple.com, grab the free class conversation starters there. If you want to do that directly, just go over to brucewhipple.com/get class, and you can do the same thing.